is fair in love and marriage. Discussing everything from A to Z, cause that's the way it's supposed to be, yeah. All is fair in love and marriage. We may agree to disagree, but in the end we know it's you and me, yeah.
What's good, everybody?
What's going on?
It is us,
the Newsomes,
and this is
the All is Fair in Love and Marriage podcast,
episode 19. Oh my god. I was upstairs in the bathroom and I was thinking about the process to now. We ain't anywhere right now.
Not yet.
But not yet. So I know we say that this at the we say this at the end. But stick with us because we
going places.
But anyhow,
we are.
So I was thinking about the process of this whole shebang.
I was really about to say that too.
Really? And it is so mind-blowing, phenomenal, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was birthed during the pandemic. Like, what? During COVID shutdown.
Where stuff was maybe insensitive, but dying.
Stuff was stuff, and unfortunately, people, mankind, and God was birthing.
Yeah.
We were down here, and we started, and we just keep going. Every week, I'd be like, I don't know what we got to talk about. Every week, I'll be like, I don't even know. And then by the day, stuff comes throughout the week.
Right.
But then
by the time Tuesday comes around, it'll be like, okay.
we're going to 2 birthdays.
Yeah.
Listen, I be trying. Like, I was like, all right, maybe we should, aim for under an hour. Or maybe we should do like smaller episodes or whatever. But we just be having some good stuff, good meaty stuff. And it's like, who better to talk about it with than my bae and everybody else?
Yeah.
So we are glad that you are here. Invite your friends.
All that. Yeah.
And your
for real.
colleagues and the homies.
Your enemies. You can invite them too.
So you know what, y'all need to watch this because they're talking about you.
And then we don't talk about them, and we still got the views.
We got the views. And we thank you for it. So, proclamation time. Do you remember it? I sent it to you to study.
No, you
I know. I didn't. I forgot. Okay. We are 2.
That's it.
We are 2 individuals. No. We are 1, but it is fair for us to think as 2.
I don't think that's how it goes either. That's the content, but that's not how it goes. That's not how you worded it.
Okay. I started with 2 though. I know I did.
I believe you did too. That's what I said.
Oh, that ain't what I meant. I meant to say we are 1, but it is fair for us to think as 2 individuals. That is right.
We will.
We will, through transparency, we will learn to love deeper, learn more, love deeper, grow and to go. See, we getting it, y'all. We getting it. I can't fight it. We're getting it, though. We are. I mean, we're transparent. We're stretching ourselves to be more transparent with each other. And we're learning more about one another.
Even though the transparency seems to spark up a little bit of heated conversation sometimes.
But even when we're not doing the podcast stuff, like we transparent with each other. And it sparks up podcast stuff.
This is true.
Yeah. We're going to jump into that in a minute, though. So, last week, if you tuned in, we talked about this amazing young feller, okay? this amazing relationship guy.
Oh.
I mean, like, he is sarcasm.
Like, who we talking about?
So,
I don't remember that.
Derek Jackson. Okay, we talked about him. The internet talked about him. Every platform talked about him, and I'm sure his business has boomed. Okay, but
he getting traffic, if nothing else.
If nothing else, he's getting traffic. And then they talked about his wife and her helmet of salvation.
Where's your helmet of salvation?
Oh, that's for the bedroom and the house. I try not to walk out the door with the helmet of salvation. Well, not that helmet of salvation, but I'm always armed with the helmet of salvation. So.
Why you just go preachy?
I don't know. We talked about last week. Stuff coming out of me too.
Yeah. I shared a video of you preaching.
I know. That was amazing. That was really like a good time.
Yeah.
It was a blessing. Anywho, so they talked about the wife, and then after we recorded the episode, we watched some YouTube. My man ain't done cheating.
Nah, he's still on his grind.
So every time I see the videos, every time I would see his videos, I'll be like, why?
He always
is
in
he
the car.
Like, where you going?
And I said that. I said
you was joking too.
I was joking, but clearly
it was for real.
There was some truth to it.
On his way to Bay.
Either on his way to or leaving from.
Leaving from and saying, you know what, y'all should not do this to y'all women.
He was feeling guilty. In the moment, he was like, you know what? I'm a living epistle of what you shouldn't do.
And I can't say, like, at first I was thinking to myself, right? First I was thinking to myself, like, well, maybe he was getting meat for his ministry. Kind of like me and you. You know, when I wrote that book, I was like, okay, I feel like it needs some more meat. And then, boom, God smacked us with a cowboy steak. Okay, so, but that wasn't the case. Because my man been cheating for over a decade.
It's crazy.
And I'm not blaming her because she still married him. Because maybe that's all she knew. Maybe that was her comfort. Maybe
he knew her love language.
You know what? Let's talk about that. So I didn't see this YouTube video, but the one I watched, or we watched, she referred to the YouTube video of somebody, some crazy person on social media that said the wife's love language was Bible. Excuse me? Excuse me?
Confuse me?
Please elaborate on that. How in the world is somebody's love language Bible?
I speak in the language of Song of Songs. Or Song of Songs. Book of Songs.
Song of Solomon.
Song of Solomon.
All of that.
All of it. I'm tired.
In one of the, in the NIV or
Song of
Songs or Song of Solomon.
Song of Solomon. Yeah, you're right.
So like, I don't get that. Like for me, it's kind of disrespectful to people who are Christian, who are children of God, because that's just saying that it's something that we choose to put on. You know what I mean? Like, you know, or this is the only way that I can communicate, or, and First Lady talked about it in prayer tonight.
I miss prayer again.
I
today.
know, every week. It's okay. He be working. She talked about when she went to, she said TH, but we knew what it was. Because she wanted to give it a try, get their coffee, because she didn't want to continue to be bougie like what Pastor was saying on Sunday. And they was rushing. You know, Tim Hortons always be in a rush. Somebody, another worker from behind the person that was servicing her, yelled through the drive-through window, "Hurry up! You taking too long."
And see, that's why I stay with the green people.
And the other language, that's what she said. She was like, the other people think that because you are saved, because you are a child of God, that you are soft. Now, mind you, she ain't gonna punch him in his face because she thought about, you know what, I can't have the people see me on the news. Lord, I'm gonna drive off. And she went to work and she was like, Lord, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you, because that was Holy Ghost keeping her. And it made me think about this incident, which we will be talking about in a minute. I'm gonna hold that. So it goes to say, like, people think just because you read the word and you go to church and you claim salvation that now your love language is Bible. Let me explain something.
Explain it.
When you are saved and you are filled with the Holy Spirit, it guides you. And sometimes, I'm not saying everybody, you have the gift of discernment. And if you got the gift of discernment, however you would choose to pronounce it, I could see through all your little fake Bible love language stuff. So, like, how can you possibly say, oh, that was her love language, so he spoke that to her? No, if you got a real walk with God, you see through that bull crap.
I agree.
I hear feet.
Yep.
I think they're the size 10 child. Almost 4-year-old. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome our guest.
Our recurring guest. Cordy.
Cordy.
It just really burnt me up that this person really took it that far to say that her love language was Bible.
It's not a love language. What he was doing was manipulation. Let's call it what it is. He was just being manipulative. He used the Bible to kind of play on her emotion and play on her walk with God, but to say that it's a love language, nah.
Remember we were watching a video of the New Orleans high school when they were doing the drum line and the majorettes and all of that, and there was a crowd of people who like jumped in front of them and were not in front of them but like off to the side, but were kind of mimicking what they were doing, but kind of making a joke of it. That's how I feel about saying that Bible is a love language. Because to me it kind of feels like now when you're making a mockery of my relationship with God. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Just saying it as being a characteristic. I don't like that. A characteristic of my personality. No, I'm saved. You could talk Bible to me all day, but if you full of it, I'm gonna see through it.
You gotta think about it. Satan used scripture for Jesus, and Jesus saw right through it and came with the fulfillment of the scripture.
Right. Okay, bye. Thanks for coming.
I agree with you. Like we're able to discern and we're able to see through the charade and the mask and the manipulation.
Is it charade or charade? Charade. Never mind. Keep going. I don't know.
But.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are 5 love languages. Gifts, words of affirmation, physical touch. Do you remember the other 2? Quality time, and
the other one.
Service.
Do
you know my love language? Or can you, do you have an idea?
You're not about gifts. I wouldn't say that is one. I mean, granted, you enjoy gifts,
I enjoy them.
but I don't think that's your love language. Um, I would definitely say words of affirmation. Affirmation and quality time, I would say. What would you say yours are?
I would say service and words of affirmation.
Why service?
Because it's like you may see me struggling throughout the day. You may be like, you know what, babe, go get to bed early. I'll clear the kitchen. Or sleeping a little longer like you do. I'll take Cordy to daycare. That type of stuff. I appreciate that. So I think that is, for me, when service is done without the teenage, when it's done just, from the heart, that is probably, I would say that might be like my top love language.
Okay.
Just because we do so much, and it might have, I don't want to say it changed or developed over time.
It's been reprioritized.
I think
because I feel like you at different times you display all of them.
Well, yeah, because I think everybody has some type of percentage of all of it. Because when I got them little signs in the nail, gifts went straight through the roof.
That is hilarious.
No. I think your love languages are definitely quality time and touch. I think physical touch. Whether it be just like holding hands. Go lay in this week. I'm gonna hold it for longer than 2 seconds. Physical touch, because I know you like to do just random, holding hands or toe touching, which we don't really get to do much of because we have
2 little boys between us.
Yeah, we have 20 toes in between. And I definitely think words of affirmation. Absolutely. I know you like to hear because you can't read my mind. Even though you should be able to read my mind.
No, I shouldn't.
Said every wife in America.
Said every husband in America.
Right. I think that's definitely. Am I right?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm very observant. That's just who I am. I'm a really observant person. But anywho, those are the only love languages. I think it's very important to know your spouse, your partner, your boo's love language because
you want to be able to communicate properly.
You want to be able to communicate properly. You want to be able to love them right. Not to say that you're loving them wrong because you may not be able to hit their love languages, but it teaches you how to kind of grow.
Love more effectively.
Right.
Because love isn't just something in a word that just flops around there. It's an action.
Right.
And just like you can cook. Everybody can cook on some levels. Just some people cook better than others. So why would the action of love be any different?
Right. Who's a better cook, me or your mom? No, but true. And even not beyond just what I can do for you as your spouse and learning your love language, it's more so in addition to me kind of understanding you, understanding, if you're not responding in a certain way or if there's some feel of disconnection, it helps me to understand why. It helps me to understand what can be kind of shifted or what can, what I can do or how I can kind of change my actions to kind of nurture and vice versa,
Yeah, because if your love language is, say, and this is just an example, quality time.
Mm-hmm.
That's your number one love language, and I'm trying to show you love by just showering gifts on
Right.
you. But my time is spent elsewhere.
Right.
You're gonna feel neglected. You're gonna feel unloved,
Mm-hmm.
even though me personally, I might feel like I'm showing you all the love in the world,
Right.
and you should be receiving that. But
And we've been there.
yeah, and we definitely been there. But signals are crossed,
Right.
and there's a huge blockage there now because of the fact that I was just communicating my love ineffectively.
Right.
So I had to learn how to, okay, this is what you desire, and this is how you feel love fulfilled.
And with that block, it makes it seem as if, like, unappreciated. Like, you may be like, I'm giving you all this stuff. I done bought you shoes.
Yep.
I done bought you this. I done bought you that. You don't appreciate nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, that's nice.
Yep.
Who I'm gonna wear my shoes with because you always gone. Or, I don't want these shoes. I want you.
Mm-hmm.
Now lay and cuddle with me and watch Netflix. You know? What I wanted to talk about, and I asked Court for some ideas. I don't think he really has many because he's such a feather.
I'm not a feather.
However, the wind blows.
I'm not a feather.
You a cucumber. You cool as a cucumber.
I'm cool.
You're a cucumber.
Eggplant.
A guide for singles when interacting with married people. I think it's important because a lot of times, for so many different reasons, single people will, if they don't have the right mindset or if they don't know, they'll disrespect your marriage and they may not know. And I only like for instance,
But is it the same across the board, or is it just?
Do you think it's just because of me? Are my triggers like my
That's
triggers?
what I'm asking. That's what I'm
know.
asking.
That's the second part of this. That's the second part. It says, my triggers, my problem. That's what it says. I think many of them are the same across the board. Because I think it's a matter of respect. Like, I feel like maybe I might just be dragging it a little bit, but I remember, like we talked about earlier, back in the day, and she was being disrespected, and she should have got dragged a little bit, but we was in church, so I couldn't do that. Court and I were standing, like I was kind of like standing here next to a seat. Court was, my friend was standing in front of me. We were having a conversation. Court was standing next to me. She like brushed in between us, in between me and my friend, and hugged Courtney. And we were married at the time. We were not dating. We were not just buddy. I think we had just gotten married because we weren't there much longer. That was disrespectful to me. I think that a lot of times when a husband and wife are like standing with each other, me personally, I think that it is, and I won't even say just singles interacting with married people. I would just say period. For me, I think it's like a matter of respect. Like, if a husband and wife are standing together, as a woman, I kind of feel like I would greet a husband and wife together, as one, I would say. Depending on the relationship. We'll put a pin in that one. Okay. I just think that a lot of times some people don't know how to, like, separate the two, Like, you probably think, so this is where our minds think differently. You think we're married, but life is life. That's how I feel. I feel like you think life is life, and people are people, and it doesn't matter if you're single or you're married. People interact.
I mean, people do interact.
I think that what I mean by that is, like, you and I don't think that you change up like being married. I feel like a lot of your mannerisms are the same as a single person, or as when you were single.
Depending on the individual. Like there are some individuals, like, say if, and I haven't seen her in a very long time, but Tiffany Harris from COG. If I saw her today, I would run up and give her the biggest hug in the world.
Well, yeah.
Like individuals like that, by I don't know. Like my interaction doesn't change because of the fact that she's single and I'm married.
But do you think that it should?
Honestly, in that light, no, because that's somebody I that's been, you know, very close to me, you know, well before I even knew you.
Right.
So like those kind of foundational relationships, as far as like those type of friendships and everything, I don't feel like, you know, that should kind of shift. Of course, priority will shift as far as like time spent and you know, choices that I make, you know, regarding my family and my home. But if it's not something that's impacting, you know, our foundation, I don't think it should matter.
So like, okay, so you say, I know we have a lot of different thoughts on that, and I guess that kind of goes to like, I guess the topic of my triggers, my problem. Like you said, when we were having this heated conversation the other night, that it sounds like a personal problem, and if it's a personal problem, then I need to handle it myself. Yep, ladies, you said that. You did.
In so many words.
That's exactly what you said. What do you mean?
That was not what I was trying to communicate.
You said
I know what my word choice was, but that's not what I was trying to communicate. And I did clear that up after the fact, and you're not sharing that part.
But you still said it.
I said it,
and
yes.
You didn't retract your statement.
I definitely retracted my statement.
No, you didn't.
I did. After you pointed out that that's how it was taken, and that's how I said it, I did retract.
You was like, I didn't mean it that way.
That's a retraction.
But no, a retraction is, I don't mean to say that because that is not how I feel.
What?
No, a retraction is a delete. Not a
retraction that's not what I meant. What I meant was, that's a retraction.
No, a retraction is, I'm sorry that I said that. Please erase it from your brain. Imagine like a magazine. I retract my statement. Take it off the record.
In conversation, you can't do that.
You can, kinda. No, you can't. But I mean, like, you.
So, what I did serves as a retraction. Sips tea.
Okay, so for instance, I'm trying to think of someone who is I can kind of like equate to that relationship. But I don't like too many people that long. I don't. Okay. Valentino Shine.
Okay.
We grew up together, known him for years, like 20 years maybe. If you and I are walking in the mall and I see him and I like walk away from you, or if we walk up to one another, if we all walk up, like we walk into each other, and I give him like this long hug and like have this conversation and like catching up and yada 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 yada, and I don't turn to you or acknowledge you or whatever the case may be because I'm catching up with an old friend and it doesn't matter, that won't make you feel some type of way?
I mean, if there's no acknowledgement of me, then yeah. After
all of that has happened, and I'll be like, oh, you remember Court? Hey, what's up?
Honestly, I don't think I would feel any type of way.
You a cucumber, I guess.
No, it's just me and him don't got no personal relationship. I don't expect him to be excited to see me.
No, but what I mean is, I feel like I don't know. Maybe I just kind of take the "we are one" thing very seriously.
I mean, I do too. And that's why if it was anything that would be considered outwardly disrespectful to you, it's out of line and it wouldn't be allowed. But some stuff I don't feel.
Some stuff you are in the gray area of what
stuff,
disrespect
like
is.
that. Like me personally, I would not feel disrespected by that.
Oh, I guess it's just our different communication languages.
And that's why I asked the question, like, you know, is it something that's across the board, or is it just something that you're personally?
I mean, I'm not gonna say. I guess in that sense. So scratch everything I said before. Not a singles interaction with married people. Come at me, okay? I'm just playing. I'm just joking.
No, but seriously, because like some wives might not be moved by that. Like I take for my grandparents, for instance. They've been married for 61 years now.
Well, you can't use them.
I can use them because if you go on by, you know, traditional standards of what's disrespectful to a marriage from a single individual.
They've been married for 61 years.
But even in the sense of when they were younger though. Like, I've had conversations with them to where neither one of them have been moved by what somebody on the outside has ever been able to do. To the point where, like, my grandfather, you know how he is. The same person that he is as far as his personality and how personable he is the same person that he was, if not even the more, back then.
We're not even gonna use that as... I mean, I've seen him interact, like, when my grandma was alive. Like,
he the type to, like, if we had a function, like a dance function or something like that, he'll literally grab another lady and start dancing with him, and there's no ill feeling about it. I'm not saying that's what I'm gonna do for you, because I know that you would feel disrespected by that. But some individuals
ain't got nothing to do with me feeling disrespected. You married. You shouldn't be dancing with nobody else but your wife.
I hear you.
So that's not just me. That's across the board.
But
that's why I say you can't use Gimme and Pop. They've been married for 61 years. So love to them, like we had the conversation. Love to them looks differently than what ours did, or relationships or marriage.
I hear you.
It developed and warped over time.
I hear you, but I'm just stating that you can't, you know, use what you feel is disrespect and essentially project that onto everybody else.
That's not true. That's like a love language.
But how do you expect everybody else on the outside to know what your love language or what your
everybody gotta listen to the podcast.
It's unrealistic, is
no,
all I'm saying.
I'm saying that, I guess I'm not saying this to everyone on the outside. I'm saying it to my husband. So when it comes to Gimme and Pop, since you wanted to use them as an example, I was saying that I seen, like when he would interact with Grandma Maxine, like they were like the coolest of buddies. Like they knew each other for years. That's how they, you know, acted. But he never double-armed hugged her. I feel like for me personally, and I think that this was something that Pop talked about, and he did. He mentioned it. He said, when they see you, they should see him. When they see, and vice versa. I never go to a party without your wife and this, that, and the third. You agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when, a couple years ago, you said to me, my pop said that the way they got married and they stayed married forever was because they did everything together. And I'm like, well, bro, I'm not coming to play golf with you. That's just not my thing. And I don't think that you're going to come to my women's book club because, yeah, that's just for women. But I think that when it comes down to, for example, if we go to a function together, and granted, it's never going to always be like this because at some point you chasing one child, I'm chasing the other child, I'm getting the stuff together, you getting the kids in the car, whatever the case may be. But in a lot of instances, there are many opportunities for moments of, I don't know, I've seen disrespectful things where we could be in the same room and like a girl could be disrespectful and do something to you, or a guy could be disrespectful and do something to me. I'm not saying that it happened, but I'm just saying that those things offer the opportunities. You get what I'm saying?
Like what?
Like, I mean, if a dude really want to, or if a woman really want to slide her number in your pocket, she can. Or, hey, let me see your phone real quick.
Why would I give her my phone?
I'm just saying, like,
that's where
people make up anything.
But that's where I'm not giving no random chick my phone.
Not a random chick. I'm not talking about random.
I'm not giving nobody else my phone. It don't happen. It don't happen.
I'm not saying like, I'm saying like, oh my God.
I'm just being real. I'm just being real. Like there's just certain things that, and I hope that you know this about me, but I just wouldn't let happen. Like, there's just certain stuff that is just out of this world, and I guess that's kind of where something that my grandfather did say, like, if you saying you with this person and you saying you gonna trust him, you trust him. You know, and it comes down to the point where I have to have that level of trust in you to know that, okay, you're my wife. You know what I would feel disrespected by. Mm-hmm. And I trust that you would never operate out of those bounds. So I'm not putting you on no leash.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, so for me and you, our perspective and our scope is different. So you, like you say, I wouldn't do that. I don't believe that, because I feel like because you're a cucumber and you're so cool and you just, you know, go with the flow, and you don't, there's been times, many a times, that I'm like, yo, she like you. She don't like me. She don't like me. And it be chicks that really be like throwing themselves at you, or like they really be like, dude, like, you don't see it? Am I wrong?
You said it.
Am I wrong?
You said it. I can't think of one individual that I think did.
So with that being said, I feel like you wouldn't recognize.
But what was the action that was done that was quote unquote disrespectful?
You talking about like in the past?
Yeah, that I've allowed to happen.
I think just opening up the door of confidential conversation further than what it was supposed to be. That was very well put.
The door of confidential conversation.
Yeah. Like letting somebody in. I think you, like, cause you're a man. Men don't be paying no attention to stuff. Women pay a lot of attention. We're very observant.
But I don't think that every action equates to the individual want me though.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. However, the way that I spoke up to tumultuous years in our marriage is the same way in an instant things can happen. So I feel like if you, the same way spiritually, if you say you have to guard your eye gates, guard your ear gates, guard your hearts. Mm-hmm. You have to be diligent with this. Same thing goes for marriage. I feel like you always have to consistently guard your marriage, because the enemy does not want marriage to be. The enemy wants to destroy marriage. He wants to destroy marriage. You call this a bonnet? I call it the helmet of salvation. Yeah, you have to be diligent in guarding your marriage. You have to be in prayer and fasting and just in action. in action though, because very easily, and even if it is just a trigger for me, even if it is your trigger, your problem, even if that is the case, the enemy can use that as a way to build a wedge, to build a barrier.
I agree with that. And let me clarify this yo trigger, yo problem situation for all y'all viewers and listeners out there.
Yes.
So when I said essentially that to her the other day, it was more so painting the concept that me personally, I feel like if I have any sort of reservation or any sort of what's the word I'm looking for? I really can't think of the word.
I don't know. I really don't know.
I'm going to blank.
Okay, skip over that part.
I really can't
If
without
I am blank.
Trying to use context.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's.
So if I'm, I can't even think of it right now.
Okay, so basically, this is what happened. Because remember, in our proclamation, through transparency, we will learn more, love deeper. So, not to be too transparent, cause
got it. So if I'm insecure, yes.
Are you kidding me?
I really had legit everything went away.
Well, first of all, that has nothing to do with the definition that you get.
I know. Charges in my head, not my heart. So, if I'm insecure about a situation or, anything that she does regarding maybe something that we might have battled in the past and we've come past that. And if something arises, I'm not going to try to essentially push that onto her, because I realize that, she's done her part and she's continuing to do her part to try to, reassure me that that's no longer the case. It's no longer the something that I should have to worry about. So speaking to that, I'm going to have to work. This is my personal feeling. I feel like I need to work on that for myself and not really look to her essentially to really guide my ability to, get healed or delivered in a sense.
So my rebuttal to that was the insecurity that developed over time came from, like you said, something that you did in the past. So when I see certain behaviors come apart, start to surface, it triggers something and it causes me to ask questions. It causes me to put up, my security a little more. For instance, I got a better example.
Okay.
When we see Cordy disappear out of the living room randomly, every time we like, where he at? Where he at? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because these behavior, we have that pattern down of when and what he's doing and how quiet he gets and when he goes into hiding.
Mm-hmm.
We have those behaviors down. So maybe in 3 months when he's completely delivered, prayerfully, or we think he's delivered, and he disappears, the first thing I guarantee you, we're gonna be like, yo, where he at? Check on him. Go see what he doing. Check the monitor. Check the camera. Right?
Probably.
So, it's not that, I guess, okay, it may be a trigger for me, but is it my fault? My trigger, my problem? No. Just like our pastor said. And I'm going to hold on to that.
And I don't disagree with that, but I think that comes into where my actions are what should really be what's reinforcing that for you.
Right. So
if I'm not doing anything that was the action,
I don't know that. So to the naked eye,
you should.
to the naked eye, it was like, oh, maybe, right?
I don't know. Like for me, I don't know. I just.
I think what it is that our arms are differently scaled, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Things that I hold weighty, you may not hold weighty. Things that I hold heavily, you don't hold heavily. We look at things differently. We have different languages of love, different languages of respect. Put that in my pocket. Because there may be things that I see as, disrespectful that you don't see as disrespectful, or as threatening that you may not see as threatening. And honestly, we have a lot of differences when it comes down to that. But like I said to you before, and I'm probably just being facetious when I say it. Oftentimes when you say that, I feel like it's more so warping the scriptures to fit your situation, because it's usually, if you shoot a cat, I'm like, oh my God, like, you are wrong for that. I'm like, if I went and shot a cat, you wouldn't be mad? I honestly don't think I would, because you shot a cat. Yo, my parents.
What?
You don't get what I'm saying? Like, when you do something, and I get upset about it, and then I'll be like, put the shoe on the other foot. Imagine me doing, and I say the same exact thing that you did, but I switch something in it. Nah, I think I'd be all right with that. I honestly don't think I would be bothered with it. Every time.
But honestly, I probably wouldn't.
Well, that needs to change. Something needs to bother you.
Some stuff do bother me, but everything don't.
Everything don't bother me either. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm just saying, pastor preached on Sunday morning. There's some people that just, they need healing and they need deliverance in certain areas.
I didn't see you get up, so I'm healed.
But I did, spiritually do it.
I'm healed.
I just didn't have the physical manifestation. But it was on the altar.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't think that it is fair to say you trigger your problems in a marriage, because.
And that's why I clarified it. But I mean, for any insecurity that I might have, do you not think that it's something that I should be working on?
It's definitely something that you should be working on. However, if it's something that I'm doing,
but you're not currently doing it.
But you don't know that.
But I'm not. But my thing is, whether I know it or whether I don't know it, I'm not going to put you in unless it's just like something that blatantly is just like out there. Like, all right, now you gotta be, doing
exactly. That's why we on this whole conversation. But you're saying, okay, if you have insecurities that because of something I've done in the past, do I think that you should be working on it? Absolutely. However, as your wife and the person that has caused those insecurities, it is my duty and my job to make you feel secure in our marriage.
Right. So that being said, if your actions are currently showing me, okay, that's no longer the problem. But something might have happened that just, triggered it. And it might not have been something that you directly did, but maybe something or maybe, a behavior that I assimilate with what happened in the past.
It warrants a conversation.
I don't feel like that's something that I should be pressing you about.
It's not. There's a difference between pressing and having a conversation. No,
because it's a thing to where now, it might have triggered a thought, but at the same time, it's like, okay, she's over the course of this period of time, she's been showing me this, and this. Her actions have been showing me that, okay, this is no longer a situation. The enemy might have brought something right here just to be able to trigger those old feelings, and that snowballs into something else.
And when you don't confront the enemy, he has more time to play around.
But do you need to confront that each and every time?
If those behaviors are coming up each and every time, absolutely.
But again, what if the behavior itself was not the problem?
Because I feel like, okay, for instance, if
the behavior may be an innocent thing.
Listen, it may be innocent to you, but it says in the Bible, don't let your good be evil spoken of. So if no, how?
The deeds that you present.
Right.
In the moment.
Okay. I'm not taking it out of context. I'm saying it out of context. I'm saying it right. I'm saying this exact thing. Like, if you're saying it's something innocent, it's an innocent action or an innocent deed, as you just said. If it's something innocent to you, but it is painted in a light of help me to understand. Like my thing is, if it's something that is presenting itself and it's triggering me and I don't talk about it, and it keeps triggering me and I don't talk about it, then you never know that it's bothering me. So eventually down the line, 6 months down the line, it bothers me. You be like, why you never say nothing? Why didn't you ever say anything, babe? I would have switched up. You can't, if something that your spouse or your bae or your boo or whoever is doing something that is bothering you, and for y'all to be together for the rest of your life.
But for me, like, certain things aren't really a bother.
To you. To have a conversation, there is nothing wrong with that. The start of the conversation, it wasn't me feeling no type of way, but it turned into, oh, by the way, I blocked such and such.
But you had to have felt some type of way about something.
No, I was telling you what the enemy tried to pull up. You know how you just said that? I was telling you about that and how my trigger, my problem, tried to handle my problem. And then it not snowballed, but it kind of like transitioned to, well, FYI, I did this.
I'm just saying, to the point of the fact that you even went there to be able to find whatever it was you found.
You said something had to trigger from that.
Something had to trigger you to lead up to that point.
Well, yeah, I still have insecurities. But we've already had this conversation. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a secret. It's not like it's not a I had insecurities, I don't have insecurities anymore. It's I had insecurities very, very bad. Or I'm not even gonna say insecurities, because it wasn't a personal insecurity. It was, I didn't trust you. So I had a huge amount of distrust, and it's shrinking. Like you say, like Pop said, you choose to trust somebody or you choose not to. I feel like yes, you can do that, but after so many times, you're kind of like afraid to. I'm not saying that I'm afraid to. I'm just saying that I'm like, here. Trust me when I tell you. Because just like any human, we have moments of, not weakness, but moments of when our guards are down. And sometimes my guard is down, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm in the bathroom, and here's his phone. All right, why not? that resulted in, oh, okay, maybe it was the Holy Ghost.
No, because there was really nothing there.
To you, though, if something is weighty to me, it should be weighty to you. You don't agree with that?
I mean, yeah, but in the sense of just because, and again, I guess I don't really, I don't know what you saw, because like you, the way you moved, it's almost as if like you saw some like flirtation or something, and that was never the case.
I don't remember.
Like there was no flirtation whatsoever. Like this individual, I responded to a video of this individual singing. Mm-hmm. They did a cover. Mm-hmm. And there might have been like 2 or 3 messages back and forth after that, which was literally just general conversation.
But for me, that's the problem, because that's where it starts. And I don't think that is my trigger, my problem. A trigger would be I watched the Derek Jackson video. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden it triggered me to remember when you were in that situation. So now I'm super insecure. My trust is all the way down. I'm looking at your phone every night. I'm questioning you about everything. That's my trigger, my problem. But granted, when I had a weak moment and when I looked in your phone, so it was my weak moment to, oh wow, similar behaviors. Not necessarily a trigger, I wouldn't call it. Or insecurity.
But again, I think that kind of goes into the rest of the conversation that we had, to where now just any general conversation with somebody of the opposite sex is translating over to I'm on the brink of cheating.
In DMs, I mean, you gotta give me time.
And if that's the case, I mean, me personally, I feel like that's not going to be okay for that to be the case for the rest of our lives.
I don't say for the rest of our lives, but I think that like I said, you gotta give it time.
I mean, and I get that, but it's, I mean, I don't know.
Not to mention, like, this whole week has been, like, triggering. So, like, for it to be, oh, you just have to be okay with that.
And that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying as you know, is that what your expectation is going to be forever, or
not forever? I don't think forever.
So when do I know when it's okay to kind of branch out? Because again, I have aspirations of doing music full time. Mm-hmm. You know, teaching, building clientele, and I don't plan on teaching. Just like owning a music school for men. That's not my aspiration.
Let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
When do you know the line has been crossed? Or when can you recognize it's not okay?
What do you mean?
Conversation. Like in your DMs conversation.
I mean, in regard to, you know,
period.
Like just to like, I mean, I guess it depends on the person I'm speaking to. Like if it's somebody that I have, you know, like history, like old friendship type stuff.
Period. Opposite sex.
I mean, again, I think there's levels to it. Like for me to, and I'll bring Tiffany up again. Tiffany from COG. Like if we were inboxing and we were talking back and forth, just catching up on like, hey, how you doing? I haven't spoken to you in 4 years now. Mm-hmm. You know, what's new in your life? What's going on? Just catch up to that. I don't feel like that's wrong.
And I didn't say that. I asked, when do you know that it is wrong?
I mean, when it crosses,
when can you recognize it?
When it crosses over to something that I feel like I need to hide from you.
So I feel like, and for me, that's the problem. Because for me, I feel like in that sense, you should be able to recognize it before it gets there.
I mean, of course.
But
normally,
just from what you said, you can't. Because if you, like you said, you know, like with the person that I blocked on Instagram, like, it was just general conversation back and forth, and it started with you paying her a compliment, and the conversation kind of stemmed from there. Not necessarily to say that it was wrong, however, it started from a place where past things have started. So for me, that I feel like that's wrong. Like, I feel like
so that's why I say, like, you know, assimilating, you know, different things with you know, a past pain point, essentially, where they might not even be connected, but because this is something that you associate with this, now moving forward, it's a problem.
It's like,
and that's not always the case.
It's like therapy. For instance, like shock therapy. Like even speaking of the dog in shock therapy, after a while, they're not even gonna go close to the boundary because they know, I don't even want to play. I don't even want to test them waters. Mm-hmm. So, like, for me, I feel like you don't have that in you.
See, but my thing is, and I hear 100% what you're saying, but my thing is, like, with, like, the test of conditioning, like, when they condition, I think it was Pavlov and his dog or something. I think it might have been a bell or something. Mm-hmm. Where the bell had nothing to do with whatever it was they were trying to get the dog to essentially draw closer to. Mm-hmm. But now, because of the tests and everything that they've gone through, now this bell now symbolizes something, but it has nothing to do with the actual situation. So now, in that instance, there was one instance where they tried to, like, decondition or recondition the dog after they did this initial programming. So they had to essentially desensitize that dog to the
How long did it take?
I don't know.
It didn't happen instantly.
No, it definitely didn't happen instantly, but it was to the point where, like, there had to be, like, action.
So with time, but it is not your job to.
But I think the point that I'm trying to make, though, is that, you know, the two have nothing to do with each other, but unfortunately, because of either the trauma or whatever was attached to it, mm-hmm. it now has a new meaning in you.
Right.
But for other individuals, this doesn't necessarily mean that.
Not necessarily under other individuals. I'm speaking about you, though. Mm-hmm. But for you, it should have that meaning until it doesn't. Just like I was about to say earlier, you received two different, when it came down to, like, the same situation of, like, letting her see your phone. When it came down to that, you received two totally, like, black and white different points of advice. Don't let her see your phone. If she gonna trust you, she gonna trust you. It's not your job to make her trust you, right? Or something like that. Or something to that sense. And then it was, man, bruh, if you ain't got nothing to hide, just give her your phone. Like, it's your job to make her secure. It ain't that big a deal. Just give her your phone. I liked that one better because it made you own what you did. Not to the point where I did it, but so you trigger your problem. If you look at my Instagram search bar and you see a bunch of guys, or, you know, you pop up, if you open up my Instagram and, like, the first thing you see might be Michaela's account because I'm younger, it's more than mine, but the first thing you see is, you know, some guy's page. Mm-hmm. I feel like for you that should raise some antennas, or it warrants a conversation. Like we used to do when we first got back together, and got back on good terms, We used to do check-ins. I don't think every conversation or piece of communication is somebody being pressed. I think it's a conversation that needs, that feels, because if communication ain't there, then relationships fall apart. Period. If we don't have those tough conversations that you may not want to have, that is, you did say that. You did say that.
When?
About being pressed, and I don't think everything needs to have a conversation. Like,
I just said I don't think everything warrants a conversation. I mean, not to say that conversation shouldn't happen, but everything don't warrant a conversation.
Everything doesn't warrant a conversation, but if it triggers me, or if it causes me to feel some type of way, or to have questions in the back of my head, why wouldn't I want to have that? Why instead, why have those questions in the back of my head, and then every move that you make, everything you do, every time you take your phone in the bathroom, and
when I said that, for me, it's like, okay, if it's a one-off situation where, one thing might have happened when your track record has been showing me that you've been in a good place, and then one thing just kind of comes out of whack to maybe like cause a trigger in that moment, but it's not a repeated thing. Okay, it might have just been a one-off situation that wasn't what was probed. So, I mean, for that, no, I'm not going to bring it up. It might just be me wilding in the moment.
Yeah.
So, of course, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to deal with my personal insecurity and work on it.
If it's something that's really bugging you, because over time it will grow and it'll become uglier. And why can't you just say, babe, I seen you go to that crack house, going back to the parable that we used. Babe, I see you go to that crack house, like, everything good? Oh yeah, I was dropping off a mail package to my cousin who happened to be there, and I'm trying to get her off the streets. Oh, that's cool, that's dope. Next time you go out, take me with you. Conversation had, move forward. No, say it in the mic. I hear Pop. I hear you, Pop. But I don't think that you can just say, I don't trust, I do trust. I'm growing in trust. I'm trusting more each day. I think that's really what it is. I think that's really realistically.
And I get that too, but I guess it's kind of how I illustrated love earlier. It's an action as this is
right.
And I mean, some people trust better than others. Some people cook better than others.
Yes, but you find ways to make your spouse okay. Because at the end of the day, just like you say, just like you tell, like when we joking around, I ain't saying nothing. I ain't getting in trouble. I gotta go home with her. The same way. You like if it's a conversation that's being had, I ain't in this. I ain't getting in trouble. You trying to get me in trouble. Have that same energy with the opposite sex.
If the conversation went there, I would definitely do something like that.
Yeah, but stop it before it gets there.
This last conversation did. It stopped well before that.
I don't remember. I really don't.
Like, me personally, I honestly don't believe there was anything in that conversation that warranted the girl getting blocked. Am I okay with that? The fact that you did it, I'm not moved by it. I don't care either way. But I don't think there was anything in the conversation because I know we don't talk like that.
I think you're just...
We don't. So like I'm almost 100% certain that there's nothing in that conversation that really warranted a block.
What do you mean I don't talk like that?
We don't talk like that. We don't, honestly, we don't talk, period.
But like, okay, so for me, I think that you're just like, and I used to think I was a friendly person. You're like over friendly. You're friendlier than me.
I'm very friendly.
I've
always been friendly.
But you ain't always been married. So that goes back to what I said about 45 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
But I don't do anything that would be counted on, a general scale as disrespectful to you or to our marriage.
On a general scale.
On a general scale, I mean, like even in regard to the conversation that I have with somebody, like me personally, I didn't feel like there was anything in that conversation that
you don't even remember the conversation.
No, but I know that the level of the conversation never went anywhere to where I felt like it was something that I needed to hide from you at all.
But it could have been flirty.
It wasn't flirty.
You don't even remember.
I don't flirt with anybody, so I know it wasn't flirty. That's why I'm saying that.
No, my brain, it was a lot going on, and the fact that it was in your secret mailbox. This has been All Is Fair in Love and Marriage. We love you guys. We thank y'all for sticking with us. As always,
like, share, comment, subscribe, turn your notifications on.
All of that.
Yeah.
And stick with us.
We're going places.
We're going places. Bye.